Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess. Today we are playing c5, the Sicilian defense, against the move e4. Our opponent goes for knight f3. We're going to go for g6 and hyper accelerate our dragon here. The dragon being the dark squared fianchetto bishop in the Sicilian. They go for this kind of Alapin approach by playing c3 and then d4. Here we're going to take, they recapture, and we play d5, a crucial move, claiming the center. And after they push past, which I would assume they're going to go for, they take. Okay, this is an interesting line as well, namely because the intuition would probably be recapture the pawn with the queen. However, then knight c3, we have to move our queen again. That doesn't look ideal. Knight to f6 is actually a bit of a more accurate move. Over attacking this pawn, you know, you've heard of over defending. Have you ever heard of over attacking? Then when we take this, the knight c3 no longer sort of kicks our knight out. So they go bishop to b5. Okay, now I think we actually can play bishop d7, because if knight takes, we can take here, and that actually looks quite strong for me. Basically what we've done is created an IQP, an isolated queen's pawn, which will mean that white has quite a lot of attacking and developmental tempo with bringing the rooks to the c and the e files. You know, playing around an isolated pawn does mean playing with open files. However, it also means that this, if blockaded and the right pressure is applied to it, then we could potentially win a arguably weak pawn. The question is, what do we do about this check? I think we can rule out king f8 as much as I'd like to consider it. Knight c6 makes sense, and I could easily see that being the best move. However, after takes, do I actually enjoy my position there? Because I could just play this. I'm going to go knight c6. I don't want to trade off the light square bishops. I want to block with my knight, develop the piece, and just sort of make this piece look stupid, because now we're going to castle and you're not pinning anything to anything anymore. Are you really just going to give me your light square bishop for a knight? I don't think so, in which case it does not belong here on b5. So, still have an IQP here, by the way, which I don't think we can tactically win just yet, but you know what I mean? We see the idea of the knight putting pressure on it, the bishop putting pressure, the queen putting pressure. I really like the move bishop g4, basically immobilizing their knight. And our pin is surely effective. Whoa, okay, I think I need to think of it tactically here. If we take this, and they take here, then are we just losing? Hold up, but can I then take here and take here? There might be some big tactic here, boys. The thing is, right, if I take their knight, then queen takes, and I try and take this pawn here, then the queen can take my knight. Although, can it? Because then I play queen takes, knight takes b5, but then there's knight takes e7 in the end, king h8, and I think we've just ended up winning a pawn but then losing a pawn. So we win the pawn on d4 and then we lose the pawn on e7. But I think, can we play this? You can't take immediately like this because your knight's pinned. So knight takes here. We attack the bishop, we attack the knight, which is pinned. So knight takes here. If they take my bishop, I play knight takes c3, I think, with tempo on the queen. So you have to recapture because you can't play queen takes knight because my bishop holds. So knight takes here, pawn takes. Knight takes here, pawn takes. We can then take this. And then after queen takes d8, rook takes d8, there's no like knight on d5 anymore threatening to take e7. I think we have this move. Now, it looks like an absolute tactical mess. There are probably about a billion things that I haven't considered here, but I'm hoping that pure intuition has made me consider the correct lines, the necessary lines that I need to, and that this is actually playable. There's a big problem as well, that if you don't take this bishop, by the way, them taking this bishop is going to slightly ruin some pawn structure by their king. Which is just another reason to go for this. Not only the fact that I think I'm winning a pawn, and winning that IQP, that potentially weak queen's pawn. It's really interesting because we classified this position as basically being an IQP position. They had an isolated queen's pawn, and immediately knowing that that means you could potentially exploit that as a weakness leads you to find, and then we play this. Yeah, and we attack the queen. You have to take, and we take here to remove the defender. Yeah, and knowing that just conceptually about the position leads you to find tactics involving that weakness, which, voila, there were tactics. And not only that, but the position I'm now left in, I'm not just a pawn up. This bishop is golden. We attack c3 twice, so they trade the queens, which I predicted as well, and this pawn's left weird. And I don't think you're going to be able to defend this. Maybe you play rook b1 or something. I think I'm going to take with my f-file rook so I can bring the other rook to the c-file. Yeah, they do play rook to b1. Because then if I take here, they can take on b7. But imagine I do take here. They take on b7. I go check. The king moves, let's say to h2 for the sake of argument. We could then take on c1. Rook takes. I don't really like letting this rook infiltrate though. It would be very easy to take this pawn, but then we let this rook infiltrate and I don't know, these pawns all start to be a little weak. So what we could do to stop the rook infiltrating is play knight to d6, which then holds the pawn backwards, and then at some point play b6 to stop this b-file being so efficable for my opponent. I think I prefer this. Being a little bit more patient and just you know, sort of taking what we have, which is a much better, much healthier pawn structure. 2 pawn islands, a 4 and a 2. They have 3 pawn islands. We've got a 3 here with a set of doubled pawns, plus 2 isolated individual pawns. Probably not the best pawn structure, as well as the fact we're up a pawn. And apart from that, we have complete material equality, and I probably have better rooks once I can, you know, close off this b-file and make this one kind of poorly positioned. So, you know, everything's equal, except from all of the things in which we are better. I don't really see any compensation at all for my opponent. Now the question is, do I want to take this knight? And after pawn takes, try and put pressure on another IQP. I mean, genuinely, I'm just going to play b6. There is no reason to create any imbalance here, because we're just better. The knight jumps in like this. Okay, you hit my pawn on e7 and my rook. So what, rook d7? Rook here. I'm going to take this opportunity to lift the rook. Maybe I want to stack on the c-file. That could be helpful. Who knows? I'm kind of just gaslighting myself into pretending that this wasn't an oversight on my behalf. However, I think e6 here just makes a lot of sense. We do weaken up the dark squares, but again, we have a dark square bishop, not that much of a problem. Or we play e5, although that does kind of close the bishop's scope. So I think we could play f6 and kick that bishop. You know what? I'm going to play f6. We do close the bishop down temporarily, but they have to move the bishop again. I don't think this weakening of our king is actually really a weakening, because probably the king wants to be more active as we tend towards something that resembles more of an endgame. And once the knight goes back to somewhere like here, we can play a move like e5 and then really, you know, get these pawns rolling. But I see no reason not to play a little rook c8. I mean, a7's held. That's part of the reason I lifted the rook rather than played rook e8. So you have to just move the knight. Now, presumably you have to go to d4, maybe b4. But hold up, either way, doesn't this pawn just hang in the end? I think we're just really cleanly winning here, boys. This is a very methodical, very logical, you know, very... this is a game you'd expect of a high-rated player, unlike my usual stuff, which is just a mess. So I'm pretty sure we can just take this pawn now. So I'm going to. We're now up 2 pawns, and the difference between being up 2 pawns rather than just the 1 is oftentimes the difference between a potentially drawing position and potentially winning one. I'm going to go here because I'm seeing some tactic where I sack my rook and then like win it back by forking, although I'd blunder my rook on d7 to a pin, so maybe that doesn't work. Although we do just harass this bishop, it's going to have to move, because if you let me take this, really? No, we're taking. Then we take here, and now you have 4 pawns, and they are all isolated. These 2 are doubled. That's absolutely terrible. We're just up 2 pawns. Okay, there's just no compensation anymore, like at all. The question is, how do we finish this game off, basically? I'm gonna go bishop h6. Why not activate my bishop this way? The king comes in, we're gonna go check. You're gonna go up to hold on to the pawn, fair enough. What if I just go king f7? Just make a mild improvement to my king. I mean, we played f6, we might as well use that f7 square. I'm going to go after a7. Do I care? Not particularly. I could play this, basically forcing you to go rook here. We're going to do this. Force the rook to take a passive role behind its own pawn. And then, honestly, a5. And we're just going to clamp down on where this knight can go. If it doesn't go to e5 now, Oh, if it does go to e5, we have a tactic, I think. Where we sack the bishop, remove the defender. Yeah, we sack the bishop, remove the defender, and take the knight. So it doesn't go to e5 now. The king instead comes in, which is interesting. I think we're just going to go behind this pawn. I see literally no reason not to. There are no checks. We could even play e5 very soon and completely lock up this knight. Okay, we're going to take this pawn with check. 3 pawns up now. I mean, we might be blundering this one, but how about I go back up and say, if you take this, you're getting hit with this. Oh, yeah. Now, I could probably go bishop takes. Is there any merit to that? There might be. There very much might be. You know what? We're playing bishop takes. The point is we hit the rook, so you have to move it. And now after you've moved it, we can move with check, with a discovered check, defend this e7 pawn, probably put the bishop on b4, just to be immortal. Let's give a check. The only thing my opponent has right now is a time advantage. We're going to go check here. Probably just go in here. Okay, now I'm just kind of messing around. Yeah, I don't actually know exactly what I'm doing right now. Let's go here. Keep the king cut off and maybe we play a little check. I have just hung a pawn, although they did not take it. Check. I'm kind of thinking we could... Wait, is this going to be mate? Oh, boys. 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 Call that pure Grandmaster intuition. Hanging the pawn. They block. Because if they go to the back rank, I'm just going to be mating here. So now we can go bishop takes. They're going to have to play rook takes, and they're going to resign. If they don't resign, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, okay. They don't resign. Clearly, they're begging for a stalemate. We're just going to go here. We have to move. Then, let's go... I kind of liked the idea of that checkmate. Damn. How do we do this cleverly? I'm going to go up here. Then promote to a knight just to waste a move. They're going to go back. Then we're going to go in with the king. They can go check. Then I come up. Your only move is this. Now I'm just going to go check and take here. I mean, feel free to skip to the analysis if you're not about to enjoy watching me stalemate this guy. King here. And then if we... Oh, yeah, this is nice. We can play rook f2, cutting off all of these squares, forcing the only move, a Zugzwang to end the game. The king walks back into its grave, and we can play rook to h2 checkmate. Nice! Okay, let's analyze that game. Okay, so here we are in the analysis. 97% accuracy with 4 inaccuracies. All of those inaccuracies we will, of course, wear as a badge of pride, much like my England rugby top right now. Let's go, boys. Let me know if you want me to release merch with an inaccuracy badge. Anyway, yeah, 97% accuracy. These inaccuracies, by the way, were, I believe, the opening theory, and then the ones down here were probably actual inaccuracies. But let's have a quick look through the game. So, pretty much perfect though. Let's be honest, because first of all, one of our 4 inaccuracies was playing this completely established theory, the hyper-accelerated dragon, that 9,399 masters have played. Here, okay, takes, and then d5. Again, this says inaccuracy. That's half of our inaccuracies for the full game. If we scroll up here, 90% of masters in this position play d5. This is the established theory. I don't know what the engine actually considers good here. Knight f6. Yeah, d5 should not have an inaccuracy mark, although I am absolutely proud of it that it does. So this is half of our inaccuracies already. Knight f6, which you can see is the best move here as we go. Yeah, knight f6 rather than playing queen takes immediately. So that's good that I was booked to that extent. Here, I played knight c6, which the engine doesn't hate, although most masters are playing bishop d7. And then, I mean, what if they just castle and we just take and take? Probably in the future I should play bishop to d7, but I thought let's leave these bishops on the board. Then we castle, and then, yeah, okay, now we're out of the database because our opponent played a weird little a3 here. Best move is... Okay, bishop g4 was one of them, so that's not half bad. Going after, and pinning this knight basically, and going after tactics, which we immediately found. That was a really nice tactic to find. Knight takes d4, and really nice as well that we identified this is an IQP position, an isolated queen's pawn. That is what we've created, and there was a tactic that manifested from the weakness of that pawn. Understanding your openings is crucial. I'm going to be, in fact, this is a perfect opportunity to tease my new video. I'm making a video called basically the best way to learn opening theory. Really high effort video. It's been taking me a while. It's going to come out soon though. I'm really excited for it. Anyway, it's really important to understand your openings because, as we saw, tactic manifested from that positionally weak pawn. Takes, we took on here. Pawn takes, we take here. The trade of queens didn't exactly help any counterplay for my opponent, but if they didn't trade queens, I mean, I don't know exactly what they were going to do. Bishop d2. Bishop b2 or bishop d2. They just got to try and hold on to this. And if bishop d2, I can take this anyway. Yeah, it was not looking good for my opponent from a really non-obvious blunder playing h3. Then we go back with the knight. Was that the best move? Oh, it was, boys. That's lovely. Instead of taking this pawn, we made the mature decision to not give their rook activity and to just bounce back with the knight. Cut our losses sort of thing. Now b6 is inaccurate. Okay, that makes sense because probably I should be using my rooks and not worrying about this because it is held. I just thought if I play b6, I now don't have to worry about the b file. They go in here. Oh yeah, I admitted as well that this was a complete oversight. I didn't see knight c6. Here, the bishop comes in. f6, beautiful. Rook here, takes. And then knight c4. Okay, yeah. Again, reason I played this was because I thought I saw some idea of sacrificing like this and forking. But then the rook would pin. And like if I take, then I lose a full rook here. That would have been terrible. So both of those mistakes I kind of nodded towards during the game. They weren't even mistakes. They were just slight inaccuracies. We're still completely winning. Trade all this off. And now it's just a matter of exploiting a terrible endgame for my opponent. Takes. Go back up. Takes here with the bishop. Okay, it did like takes with the rook. We can go back. Give a check here, and then that's just a blunder because bishop d6, and this is going to be checkmate. If they move anywhere here, then we have this beautiful, a really aesthetic checkmate with the bishop holding the dark squares and the pawns entombing their own king. That is quite beautiful. So they played the knight check, and then I kind of messed around for a bit and thought, you know what, let's try and make this fun, and then found a beautiful little zugzwang by playing rook f2. It's not beautiful, that is definitely an exaggeration, but it's pretty nice to basically force them to walk into their own coffin and then checkmate on h2. I don't know what has happened to me. That was a very mature, principled game of chess. I apologize. I will make far worse moves next time. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff that helps the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Check out the memberships offer if you would like to become a member of the channel, and if you're interested in personal coaching from me, sign up with the spreadsheet in my channel description. All of you who have signed up using that spreadsheet, there are quite a few of you I haven't got back to yet. I will be emailing you hopefully relatively soon. I'm working on quite a few things at the moment, and you know, I'm going back to university in a couple weeks, so I want to sort of establish the regular classes for while I'm at university. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.